All right, welcome to the Contractor's Guide to Websites, SEO, and Google. If you have any questions today, use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen there. You can just click on it, ask a question, and we will periodically stop and answer those questions throughout the event. I'm Amy. I'm going to be your moderator today, and I'm going to introduce you to Jeff Duggins and Crystal Geis, who are here with us. They're going to be your hosts. Jeff graduated from University of Kentucky in 1997 with a bachelor's degree in computer science. Jeff worked in the corporate world as a software engineer and manager for 14 years. Towards the end of his career in the corporate world, he founded his outdoor living and pond design and installation company, H2O Designs, Inc., in the Lexington, Kentucky area. Jeff met BJ Linger in 2005 through Aquascape Inc.'s Pondemonium event. Just 5 years later, they saw an opportunity to help pond contractors with websites and online marketing. In 2010, they founded what is now Outdoor Network Services. Outdoor Network Services has been providing website and online marketing services to outdoor contractors since then. Having a strong background in the landscaping industry and a unique approach to website and SEO design gives Jeff and BJ Linger a strategic advantage in helping other landscape and outdoor contractors with their website and online marketing needs. Next, Crystal is a graduate of Western Kentucky University, founded Ad iOS Digital Media Company in 2016 and has since launched numerous other companies. Crystal and her team are passionate about providing solutions to contractors and big businesses, all the way up to Chick-fil-A. Defining what success looks like while implementing 2 decades of business, web development, and marketing to your current marketing strategies has become her passion. So without further ado, let's get started.
Well, I'm glad we got that out of the way, right, Crystal?
I know, right? Thank you for those nice introductions.
Right.
I think Jeff was being a little modest. I had someone write mine for me. I think that you definitely missed some of the points of how successful you've been with H2O Designs and how we met as well.
Yeah, in case it's any wonder, I'm glad you had somebody else write that because it is awful. Nobody's ever written their own bio. It's horrible. I was going to wing it together this morning. It took me like an hour, and it's like whatever. But yeah, I met Crystal through marketing. I mean, I've always done websites and SEO ourselves, and I saw the need. I dabbled myself in paid ads, and honestly wasn't very good at it, and knew Crystal from she'd helped us with marketing with H2O Designs before, and she really nailed our paid ads and took our development to the next level, to the point that you actually rewrote our website, what, 2 years ago?
I think so.
Like that. So yeah, that was a huge leap for me to have someone else write my website after 17 years in business of doing my own. So yeah, kudos to you as well. And like I said, we're just blessed with success, if you will, through Outdoor Network Services and through H2O Design. So hopefully we can take, my goal with this webinar series in general is to take what we've done as H2O Designs and what we've helped other customers do, and what I watch other customers do, all the way from the marketing all the way through to the sales and the closing the deal and knowing your numbers. So I'm excited about finally putting together this webinar series and helping other contractors achieve the success that we've been blessed with. So and like I said, I think you were a little modest as well. You've been incredible with us. We've had 30 developers offshore now, so when somebody comes with a website change or a website, we can whip that around and really give great customer support. So I think enough about us, and let's talk about what we're supposed to talk about here, Crystal. And hopefully this is a great introduction to our webinar series. I think we have a lot of great things to come. So hopefully everybody from this gets some value out of it, and we'll move forward. Anything else?
No, I think you covered all the right. First bases.
I am controlling the slideshow today, so I'll get caught up in listening to you and talking and forget to change them. So Amy and Crystal just like give me a little nudge or interrupt me and tell me to switch the slide whenever I need to. So here we go.
Okay, I'll start with this slide.
Okay.
So what we want to first talk about is just the need to be found online. So as we've said already, today we're going to talk about, this series is going to cover all things digital marketing, being online as a business. But we want to start with just the basis, like, why do you need to be found online? Why is that important for your business? And so we've come up with some statistics here that we feel like everyone needs to know about. So we'll start here, and then we're going to go on and touch base on SEO and what is SEO, how SEO works, what it's truly made up of, what you need to know about it, and then on to websites and how you can get found online. So 89% of the population uses the internet, and that's just worldwide. So as you can see, everyone is online, everyone is on social media. 90%, we talk, I'm sorry, we talk a lot about Google. The reason we talk so much about Google is because 93% of the online experience starts in a search engine. And now that Google has their contract with Apple over the last 3 or 4 years, that's just really grown. I think now it's like 93% of searches are actually made on Google search engine. So that's why Google is the giant, and they're so important that your website come up, not just for your business name, but also for the services that you offer. And we'll talk more later on about how you achieve that. Most of your clicks, when you think about your own search experience, when you've made a search, if you make a search and it doesn't come up what you want, 91% of those people, they don't go on to page 2. If you're anything like me, you just literally go back to the search bar and type it in a different way, put different keywords, add a location to it, to try to find that service or that product or whatever it is. We all have our handheld devices. We are literally, they control our lives. We are in a society now of people who want something immediate. We want immediate results. So when we make that search, we expect to get relevancy of what we're looking for. And that's what Google really tries to deliver on. Roughly a third of all mobile searches are related to location. So now Google's actually looking at mobile first for everything. And so they're trying to deliver on relevancy and also location. So they want, so your website has to match what these people are searching for in order for it to come up. But then also your location has to be plugged in so that Google knows where you service at, because they aren't trying to give national vendors to people as much as local. They really have opened up with Google Maps a huge thing for location. So having a Google Maps listing, which was Google My Business, you'll hear us refer to it as both throughout this, is extremely important because people want things that are close to them. To rank on page 1 of Google in 2022, we're seeing an average of 1,500 to 2,000 words used per page, okay? So every website page that you should have, every service that you offer, there should be a page built for that, because while you have to have 1,500 to 2,000 words on some of those pages, you only are going to rank for like 1 to 3 phrases on it. So that's why if you are a pond contractor, but then you also have pond maintenance or pond cleaning or landscaping or hardscapes or whatever that might be, you've got to have service pages for all of these in order for Google to see you as relevant and to be able to deliver your services to the people that are searching for them. 81% of shoppers research online before making a purchase. So think about your own, the largest purchase you've made recently. What was that? And when the idea occurred, I can almost bet you $100 that you went, I will bet $1,000 that you picked up your phone and you made a search for it. And that's just the way that we're wired. That's what we do now. Technology is just literally, it controls our lives. 3.5 billion Google searches are made daily, and that volume is only growing at 10% per year. And 84% of Americans are shopping for something in any given 48-hour period. I remember when there was a day in corporate America, just 8 or 9 years ago, when your computers at work used to be blocked from things like social media, being able to search and shop and stuff online. And now technology is so big that employers, they can't even do that at this point.
Hell, that's Amy's whole job. Is to
Exactly.
play. I'm a supervisor that she plays on Facebook all day.
Well, it doesn't matter because we have our phones now. So
Right,
who
there you
uses their
go.
work computer to look at Facebook?
Great.
Which is another reason it should be mobile first. And then near me is the most searched term. And that's actually changing a little bit now because Google and search engines have got so smart with knowing your location based on your IP address already that people aren't necessarily having to use near me, but for a long time. And that was something that was one of the reasons it became the most searched term, is because you wanted a pond contractor near you. So you were searching that way. And now we're seeing less of that term near me being used because people know now that Google delivers on location. So it's been an amazing experience the last 10 years that I've been involved with Google and just watching the changes. I'll never forget on a Black Friday, it's been several years ago now, Google literally flipped the switch and said, okay, we want to see everything mobile first as of today, and we're not warning anybody. It's just going live. And Best Buy's website, like in all their rankings, completely like just plummeted on Black Friday.
I remember that.
Yeah,
That was crazy.
it was crazy to watch, but and which is why it's also important to have someone who follows Google and has multiple clients that they can experience these things, because Google they don't warn you, they don't tell you, and they launch and change things literally every single day.
Yeah, I was looking, I looked just the other day, just did a Google search, and they've done five updates to their search engine algorithms like the last 3 months. So everything, I mean, most of the time it doesn't affect anything we do, but sometimes it does. So we have to look at that and see. I mean, we've literally seen pages where they just disappear, and then we have to look at it and say, oh, we had to change this. So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, that's why it can't just be left out there and forgot about. So
Ready for next?
Change slide.
There we go.
All right. So we are going to just dive straight into what SEO is and what it's made up of. So many people, when they're talking about any kind of online marketing, they call it SEO. And that's just because SEO is a term that has just been used so wildly, and people, a lot of people think they know what it means, but they don't really. We often get asked if we can do SEO on websites for people on their current website. And at one point we were like, we'll try. Yeah, we can try. But the honest truth is that we can't, because 40% of SEO is made up in literally your current website, how it's built, the structure of it, and what all it entails. So Jeff, if you'll hold your mouse over on the left-hand side there, I'm sorry, the right-hand side.
No, they're okay. Let me make it. Okay.
So when we're looking at this map, what we're looking at is this is the components of Google's ranking algorithm, okay? And so you can see here that 12 to 15%, so this is literally how SEO is made up of. 12 to 15% is your infrastructure, okay? So this is being mobile first, your security, page loading time, hosting server location. So this is a big thing that a lot of people forget about, is where your server is actually located at makes a difference. Your domain name or domain age and name. So what your domain is called and how long you've had your domain has to do with relevancy with SEO as well. So new domains don't necessarily do as great as older domains do. On-site, which is technical, so this is like keywords, meta tags, title descriptions, all social headers, and we'll go into this and actually show you this on some websites that it's missing and some websites that that we've actually built. Schema markup, URL structure and naming, internal link, all of that stuff is 7 to 10%. 18 to 21% is actually content. And so there's so many websites out there that have so little content on them, very little words. And so even though people, I will 100% be the first to tell you, no, people aren't reading all of that, but you have to have visuals for it. And the text still has to be built in some way so that Google can read it. This is where we were talking about, nearly 1,500 words on a page. So keyword usage, content composition, length, readability, the uniqueness of it. Google knows now if you literally are taking pictures and using stock pictures, you can lose credit for that. If you are using content that you've taken it from another website, they know those things now, and you actually will lose credibility for things like that. So that's a huge part of it, is the content. And then engagement. So down at the bottom, you see the 20 to 23% engagement. And that has to do with things like how long are people on your website? Are they getting to your website and immediately leaving? Maybe because your website didn't load or they didn't find the correct information. Excuse me. They didn't find the correct information right away. Google even will see you as not being as credible if people come to your website and they never fill out a lead form. That's also important, or they don't click the call. Those are all things that are engagement. And so many websites do not even have clickable phone numbers. And, we're seeing a huge amount of website traffic, and especially in the contractor industry, that's all coming from mobile devices. Because remember, those people are sitting at work and they're on their mobile phone, so they're not tracked on what they're really looking at on the internet. And oftentimes they're searching for home improvements and the things that they want to do in their personal life. So engagement is very, very important. If you have a website that just sits there and it's not getting any engagement, you're not going to have SEO. It's just not the way that it works. So then over on the right-hand side, you'll see off-site stuff. So 10 to 13% is made up of your Google My Business, which is now referred to as Google Maps. And way back in the day, it was the Google Plus that they had. It was social for businesses, but now that's really changed and grown so much. And then you can see your listings and then reviews. So we'll talk more in another segment about reviews, but I just want to reiterate that reviews are so important. You can literally outrank your competitors by having these things in place and having more reviews than they do, because Google sees that as just a personal reference for you. 2 to 5% is social. So it's not so important about when you post, but actually what you post. So if you're only even posting one time a month, if it's one piece of content that's really good, getting a lot of shares, tweets, pins, likes, comments, those are the things that are going to help you on social media more than posting 5 times per week and nobody ever engages with your stuff. A lot of businesses get really caught up in that having that post ready, but if it's not being engaged in, it's really not doing anything for you anyways. And in another one of these webinars, we'll be talking more about social media as well. And then 18 to 21% is off-site links. So in that area, I'm going to let Jeff go in and talk about that one a little bit more.
Yeah. So, I mean, so really this, when we found this statistics and this map, we've used it in more than one webinar. What this is saying overall, and I'll get back to the offsite linking, is in summary, Crystal, is if you don't have a good quality built website, that's 37 to 46% of your what Google's looking at. So, I mean, I'm brutally, my wife says I'm brutally honest. So being brutally honest, I would say that contractors need to look at their website and be brutally honest with yourself. Is your website good? Does it have good content? Does it do all the things we're going to talk about towards the end of this slide? So I mean, if you're not doing that, then the rest of the stuff you do, you're still only going to be 50% as good as what your competitors are doing. So I think this is a gut check moment that people really need to look at and say and be honest with themselves. Is our website good? If not, then what do we need to do about it? Engagement's a key thing too. I mean, we refer to it, we've done webinars before and you've heard us say this before, Crystal, you can build the nicest, prettiest website in the whole world. And it's like having a nice shiny Corvette that you sit in the garage and don't drive around. Nobody knows you have that website unless you get people to go to it. And if nobody's going to your website, and with as smart as Google is now, they just don't. Google say, well, nobody else is going to the website, so why should I feed it up to other people to go to it? Because something's going on here to make people not want to go to it. And usually that has to do with the stuff on the right-hand side. So with the 10 to 21% of offsite links, I think that's what we based our original idea off of. BJ and I did, is the fact that we wanted to create a group of links, linking websites that all link together. And I'll go into this more detail later on, to where, if you have your website over here and it's going, you're getting your engagement, you're linking to it for your offsite, and you're doing everything else except for the offsite links thing. There's only couple ways you can get offsite links. You can get them through signing up for your house and different things like that and link to your website, or you can sign up for a service like, well, I don't think there is another service like that, but you can once you sign up for our services and get listed on our network, you immediately get the value of hundreds and hundreds of inbound and outbound links for your website. So,
And I want to add something that you said there too. You mentioned house, and let's mention real quick Angie's List too, because those companies, while they are offering some backlinking there, they're selling your leads to many other contractors at the same time. And by the time you get a hold of a customer, they're normally aggravated, and they're buying SEO and they're buying SEM, paid ads, the same thing that you can do on your own and do a much better job of for yourself. So I just want to kind of point that out since you mentioned that. And then Jeff, we can go to the next slide, but we do have a couple of questions here. I think it would be a good time to answer these.
okay, all right, go ahead. I don't have my Q&A open because I got too many windows, so just
Okay.
I mean, and you can decide if you answer. I'll answer either.
I can just read them if you want, or Amy, do you want to?
Either way, I've got them pulled up here. First, Ted asked, you touched on this a little bit. Does the length of time a site has been online make a difference?
100%. Google is looking at how long you've had your domain. However, you have a lot of competitors out there that may have been online for a lot longer than you have, but they may have really poor content and really awful websites. So having a good website is going to get you there faster. But yes, absolutely, it makes a difference. It's something that's looked at.
100%.
Secondly, Faith asked, she says, I'm curious how long it takes to achieve SEO.
Yeah, that's another good question. And there is no true answer, right, Jeff?
There's no true answer, but I'm a firm believer that by doing the you can, there's different levels of SEO in my opinion. There's your initial SEO that's going to get you get you a page one listing, one of your website pages, page one, a couple here and there. And that comes from having everything we talked about, having a great site, the 36 to 45% or 37 to 45% of the what's on the right hand side there, getting your engagement up. And we'll talk about this in future webinars too. One of the true advantages that I found with our H2O designs is when we signed up for paid ads through you, Crystal, we immediately saw a ton of traffic going to our website, and that inversely helped our organic results. I saw more organic results come up along with that.
Let me interrupt you there real quick.
Okay.
Because Jeff and I have two different visions, but our visions together tie in perfectly to give you immediate results.
Yes.
I'm a true believer that SEO takes at least a year to build good SEO. And that's because you can't just add all the content at once. But we guarantee with Jeff, Google indexing, all the linking to the networks, to his network, the backlinking that's needed, and all of the things that come within what this slideshow tells you about. And all of these things together can literally happen in as quick as 1 month, and it can take all the way up to a year. But certain aspects and parts of it, we do guarantee that we can get you instantly, such as indexing some of the basic SEO and service pages. And then we can guarantee instant SEO by backlinking you to the outdoor network services.
Yeah, and one thing I want to clarify with that too, Crystal, before we go any further, when we're talking about SEO in this webinar and as a company, we focus solely 100%, not 100%, but mainly on localized SEO, meaning that you'll get found in your local market, what you're wanting to get searched for. Because for me as a contractor in the Lexington, Kentucky area, I don't service Louisville, Kentucky. I don't service Indiana, Ohio. So we don't focus on global SEO like when some of your larger companies, like your manufacturers and those type of companies, they want to be found for everything. So the way we achieve SEO is we want to get our customers found in the areas that they want to be found in for the customers that are going to serve them, and not waste valuable SEO space and valuable time and energy on getting them found, in places they don't service.
I think that's why we partner so great together too, because I could never in this industry guarantee SEO on my own the way that I can with the outdoor network service and the value that you're getting with that, because they already have the SEO. So that's the big thing, is outdoor network services already has the SEO, already has all those keywords. They have the longevity of it. They have that old good domain out there, all the things that Google's looking for. And then we're just linking you to it at that point. So that's one way that we're able to give you that instant SEO that is normally just non-heard of. And that's one reason that I love partnering with outdoor network services, is to be able to offer that. So I hope
remember.
that answered
Yeah.
where we stand differently, but then how we work really well together.
Exactly. Not to drag us on real quick. I remember the first time BJ and I told you in that meeting that we guaranteed page one. You're like, oh my God, how do you know? No,
Yeah.
you don't do that. So anyway, next question, Amy. Is that it?
Okay, next, Kim says, how do you get rid of a negative review? Which was left by
Bury
someone.
it.
Barry,
There
yeah.
it is, yeah.
I think I'll take this one because I've had, as bad as I hate to hate it, I've had a couple of bad reviews. We've had a couple of bad reviews, Amy. And the true way to do it, and we'll talk. I think this is really a topic for the next webinar we're doing in December on social media, Google My Business and reviews and all of that. So we'll table this question sort of till then as a teaser. But just what Crystal said, you can't. The only way you deal with a negative review if you have to honestly own up to it. So if your guys did something that made them mad or whatever, you own up to it and say, yes, we did that, and here's what we did to fix it. Or you just sort of, if it's somebody that's being facetious, you just ignore it and try to bury it with more good reviews. And
Always answer them though. So if it's somebody that you really don't know, it's not your customer, say that, I'm really sorry. I think you've left the review on the wrong place. You're not our customer. If it is something that you just need to take offline, I recommend going on and saying like, I'm a manager. Here's my number. Please contact me direct. I'd love to resolve this issue with you. And just get them to, because then if they keep going back and back, okay, it wasn't your customer, Kim. So all you can do, you can report it. Google may or may not remove it, and just get more positive reviews and make sure you reply on it. I'm sorry this happened to you, but you're not our customer. You've left this review on the wrong listing.
Yeah,
and move on.
That's tough. And as a business owner, it can consume you. So again,
Yeah, don't let it. Just worry about more positive ones, answer it, and move on.
Okay. Is that it for now, Amy? We got more.
There was one more. Mike asked, do paid stock photos get looked at negatively?
I'll let Crystal answer this one.
Yeah, so this is actually a brand new thing with Google that they now know that it is stock. And yes, it does. They're not knocking you like 1,000 points or something, but you are getting knocked for having stock photos on your website versus having real authentic photos that you've taken.
And there's a difference between stock photos, what's considered a stock photo, and what's considered a generic photo. So like, for example, for our websites, for a lot of the customers we have, we'll get new customers in. So we can use the manufacturer's photo, so they get permission if like they have a certification with the manufacturer or something like that.
That's
to use
different.
photos. Yeah, that's totally different. A stock photo is something you find on Shutterstock, Pixabay, those type of things that they sell or offer for free, and that's where they link. I guess they link the pixels to the pixels and match that up.
And there's often times that we still recommend that. I mean, for some marketing purposes, you need to incorporate different people or something of that nature. But Google's just looking for authenticity out there, creating emotion. And so putting pictures of yourself and your family is even okay on your site. If you have to start your business with stock photos, that's okay. But you eventually would like to get away from them. It's going to help you in the long run. So I hope that answered it.
Yep, and we're going to dig more into that in our next seminar as well, Amy, when we talk about how to take pictures and what you need to do for your social media, correct?
Sure.
Yep, she has a lot of opinions on that. We get them every day.
All right, we can move to the next slide.
Next slide, let's go. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
make a Google search.
All righty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch screens here and kind of show you the anatomy of a Google search so that everybody understands what's paid, what's not, and where you can focus on here. So, I just searched for, I like using my own company because I'm not encroaching on other people's searches, and I like talking about myself so that if I say something bad about it, nobody gets mad at me. So anyway, so when I search pond maintenance contractor Lexington, Kentucky, this is what a search result look like. The ad space in the top here, which kudos to my Google Ads person, Crystal, is shows up first. And do you want to go ahead?
Let's talk about how many places are there. Okay, so in the top of any Google search, there can be 4 places for paid ads. So there's 3 places in the bottom. And so you can see in this situation that there's not a competitor that comes up here. Now, that's not true in every part of the day. So some people, their ad budgets can already have been exhausted for the day. And so they may not come up for that reason. Or it can be a variation of the keywords or the location, things of that nature. But in general, sometimes there can be 4 paid ads here in this section, which pushes organic searches down further.
Yeah, I have another example I'll go through here in a second that shows a more pond maintenance is really focused, so a more general term too. So
then here you can see your location. You see where this ad is in the map listing. So this is actually your Google Maps, your Google My Business listing. And in this listing, you can see ad, and that's because his location extension is connected to his Google Ads. And those things also help with SEO because it's more users, more engagement, sending immediately to his website.
Right. So one thing I want to point out here too, see how we have the little check mark there for ours verified. That's something we'll go into in the next webinar as well, about how to get your Google My Business verified so it looks better in the reviews and that type of stuff. So once you get past the ads, then you get down to the organic results, which is SEO, what we're focusing this webinar on. And you can see that that my pond maintenance page on my website is number 1. My main website page is number 2. So this is a good example of how to get multiple results for listings. There's only 10 locations on the SEO page 1. So if you're not in the top 10, you're in last place. You might as well be in last place, and most people don't want to say you. So what's the saying? You're not number 1, you're first loser.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way we approach the SEO. So you can see that I have the top 2 spots here, along with my ads, along with my Google My Business. Go ahead, Chris.
And mention those bolded words there as well. So that's how those keywords that he searched actually came up in that ad. That's how Google pulled them.
So this is actually either used to be, you have what's called a meta description on your website. What I've found a lot of times is Google now pulls content from your website page instead of exclusively using that meta description. So having good content on your page, it'll pull, and it's in the bold words. It just shows how Google's matching the keyword search upon maintenance to these pages that is coming out there. So 3rd place, we have one of my competitors here locally, but in 4th place, I have another listing, and that's 2 of my outdoor network services. So not only are we providing linking and helping the website pages show up better, we're also actually getting our landing pages and our service pages indexed to provide more page 1 results. And the reason why it's important, remember we just said that we only have 10 places. Well, if I'm taking up 3 of those 10, then that's 2 more of my competitors that I've kicked to page 2, which is first loser. So I think that's very important to get multiple page 1 results. It doesn't happen on every search, but on main searches and stuff we target, it generally does happen. Then you have your yellow pages and some more competitors, and then Crystal mentioned the bottom of the screen where you have your ads again as well as that. So anything you want to add?
And I think this is funny. I like to always just mention this, but do you see the ad there for Powell & Sons and Jensen Brothers?
Mm-hmm.
So both of those ads are fake websites for Angie's List.
Yes.
That's how they are driving leads.
Yeah, and Home Advisors owned by Angie's List now, or they own Angie's List, whatever. So we should have a whole webinar on how Angie's List and Home Advisor is not good.
And RevLocal.
And RevLocal as well, yes. So
sorry.
you catch us as a seminar somewhere at the bar, especially Crystal, get her opinion on it. It's a trip, yeah. But basically, they're just trying to catch the customer's attention. Once they get them there, then they're going to trick the customer into filling out a form, and then as a contractor, you're going to pay $30 or $40 for that lead, and you go down that rabbit hole. And that's one of the reasons why BJ and I created the network that we have, because we'll show you what our network looks like later and how we do things differently than Angie's List, Home Advisor, and all the other people out there that try to get your money. That's basically what they're doing. It's just a big sales game.
Yeah. And if you have ever put your information into an automated system that sends your contact to like 20 people and your phone starts ringing with people, it is the most annoying thing in the whole world. I did it for insurance once, and I was like it's awful. I didn't answer any of them. I was so annoyed.
All right, so this is another search. We'll go through this real fast. Outdoor, I think we're running a little bit of time, but that's okay. Outdoor living contractor, Lexington, Kentucky. Again, ad space there, Google My Business, and again, multiple website page 1 results for that. So just in what I'd encourage you do if you're watching this webinar and want to know how you show up, search for the service that a couple of your main services, what location you're in. If you want to know what locations to use, go to think about what you would do if you were calling a plumber, electrician, heating, air person. What do you use? Because BJ and I had this conversation with Eye Opening years ago. In Kentucky, we use cities and Central Kentucky and Lexington. In New Jersey, they use counties and townships. So it's not the same across the country. So, and what you're trying to do from an SEO standpoint is it's a word matching game. You're trying to match what the customer is potentially typing in versus what you're targeting. And if you win that game, you get on page 1 and you're not first loser on page 2. Anything we need to add to this?
No, we explained Google Ad Space, Google My Business, and organic, I think, pretty well.
All righty. So now let's talk about website design. I'm gonna go over to, again, switching screens. So let me just read through these real quick and then we'll go over these again. Clean, responsive design. So one of the questions we're going to answer is, how do you tell if your website's a responsive design? Responsive design, that didn't proofread that very well, but that's okay. We'll go over some other stuff. Clickable phone number. This, in my opinion, is the #1 error that I see in websites everywhere. If the customer has it on their phone and they're trying to sit there and tap that phone, they're going to keep tapping until their finger gets sore. If they can't call you, you're going to lose that customer to another search. Easy accessible contact forms. This is another mistake I see on a lot of websites. It's okay to have a long contact form that has a lot of information for that customer that wants to fill it out. For me, I want something that's going to, I want their name, phone number, and address, and I want to be able to call them. I want the customer to, I want the company to call me, and I'll tell you everything else I want to know. So that's for the person that's ADD, running on the go, and with that, and we can show that to you as well. And then Crystal mentioned earlier multiple service pages. So let's switch over here.
Yeah, let's open. You're gonna open an ugly website as well?
I am. I'm going to do a good one first, if that's okay. You want to skip straight to the ugly?
I would show the ugly first.
Okay, we'll go to ugly first. That's fine. Yeah, my computer. So
No, you're right. You're right. Show the. You're right. Show the good one first, and then we'll show the.
My little pop-up thing for Zoom is getting in my way of the tabs. Okay.
Oh.
You can see that, right?
Yeah.
So this is the website. The way I'm going to minimize the thing. So this is a website that shows everything that we're just talked about. So at the top of the screen, you have a clickable phone number. Okay. The get a quote button is here. That takes you down to the bottom of the page to a quick quote form.
Yeah. And it's telling people what to do too. So that's something to think about with your website, is when they get there, they need to see where you service, what you want them to do, and how to get a hold of you.
Right. Right, exactly. So a couple of things that we include that again, I'm after for H2O designs, and what I found for this area is probably 60 to 70% of our customers, they don't read my website. They find it online. They're looking for a solution, and that's what they want to do. So we're making it really easy to either call us button, quick contact form, really quick, name, phone number, email, and give me a message, and I will get the rest of the information out of you when we call you back and talk to you. So that's really easy, especially on a mobile device. If you're on the go, the person's on the road, on the run. Me personally, I would rather do this and give them information over the phone versus fill out a large thing. A couple other things I want to talk about. We mentioned this initial screen that you come to on a computer, and we'll show it again on the phone view here in a second. This is really what's capturing the person's attention. So a great big video header, I think nowadays is huge to get people's attention and really tell a story without words of what you do. Show off put your best foot forward. At the end of the day, whenever you've done everything you need to do SEO-wise in the background, and you get somebody to your website, and I'll show a picture of an ugly website in a minute. If you don't show them within 10 or 15 seconds that you are the company they want to call to do your backyard, you're probably going to lose them to a competitor. They're going to go back to that search screen and go again. Another thing I want to point out here, and this kind of starts the SEO, is we tell the customer where we're located at. Immediately, they know that this company is in North Texas area, residential, commercial. So you've told your whole company about us page in a matter of just a few words at the top of the screen here. You've told them you're North Texas. So if I'm in Kentucky, I'm going to leave this, and Craig doesn't care because he's not servicing North Texas. You tell them you do residential and commercial, and you tell them you do pond and water feature installation and maintenance. So if none of these things are true, if somebody's looking for an HVAC company, they know right away they're not there. If somebody's looking for a pond installation or pond maintenance, they know that they found the right website, and now they can start scrolling down and seeing more about your company. Certifications are important. If you have certifications, put your best foot forward. Let them know that you are vetted and that you are the company to call. And at this time, you've already captured their attention. So you've got some different things going on just to catch their attention and have them click around. Again, the longer you keep them on that website, the better chance you have they're going to click a call us button with something like that. So on down here, and then you have the form at the bottom of the screen. Again, they scroll to the bottom. They've seen everything. Oh, let's remind them again to fill out a form to get in touch with us. So we tell them to get in touch. And notice these are statements and not a, hey, please call us, please this. We want to tell people what to do. And it really works that way. Anything to add on that, Crystal?
No, just your social media. Like, people
Yes.
want to know that you're relevant. It doesn't mean you had to post daily, but just that in the last month you've made a post. So that's super important too, but we'll touch more about that in the next.
Yeah. So I think online reputation is truly, does your website tell your company story? Does your social media tell your company story? Can that customer learn about you? Because nowadays the best phone calls we get as a company, they call in and say, hey, I saw this on your website. I know you're going to charge me a consultation fee. I'm okay with that. I'm ready to pull the trigger. What do we need to do? And that all comes, we know they've either went to our social media and researched this, or they went to our website and read through it. So we know that we're accomplishing our goal by that. Another thing that we didn't really mention in our notes that I wanted to talk about is pricing. And I don't know where it's at on Craig's here, but we a lot of our websites, if the customer wants it, I recommend doing price ranges. That kind of eliminates your tire kickers and lets people know, hey, you're going to pay $3,000 for $3,000 plus $5,000 plus for this service. And if you don't, and you don't have to be rude about it, you just have to be politely say, this is what our fees are. And that'll stop some of the tire kicker calls that we get. A lot of our customers will call us and they don't put pricing on there initially, and they're getting 20 or 30 phone calls a week, and they can't keep up because they're calling these people back. So that's a good way to, once you're established and you're getting those phone calls, to kind of vet the customers with that. Okay, so now let's look at a bad website. And before I go on these websites, I just want I'll look at my website too. This is not a bad, this is my website. So again, video showing everything we do, calls to actions. We utilize the Facebook chat functionality so that they click on this, it chats through our Facebook page, which is an option which we like the option because we have office personnel that can manage that. If you're a one-man show and you don't want to have to deal with chats all day long, then I wouldn't recommend this. So different things you can.
Yeah, but do notice that people, even more than filling out contact forms these days, people want to text and chat quickly. Because
Yes.
remember, we all want immediate results. So even when they get to your website, if you haven't answered them quickly, they're likely to go to another website and submit another inquiry because it's top of mind to them, and it's very important to get an answer immediately.
Yes. So again, at the top of our page, we say what we do. We say where we do in serving Lexington, Central Kentucky. This is key, not only for Google to pick it up in SEO, but to also tell the customer, this is what I do. This is where I do it at. If you'd like to call us, that'd be great. Type deal. And I would say that if you approach your website design and the content of it that way, Crystal, that Google's smart enough to know that you're doing a service for the customer and not trying to plug in a bunch of keywords.
Yeah, there's no tricking Google anymore. Like, those times have come and went. So you've got to do it the way they want it in order for them to read it. And and this is what they want. We follow their protocols.
Yes, and so just blindly plugging keywords into text will not work. You'll get flagged in a heartbeat with that. So I mean, that's one of the things that I see people that do that, and it just absolutely does not work. So anything else about how we design the websites and what we go for our customers and why we do it before you look at some of the things the red flags?
No, I think we've touched on all those things. Just something additional is the service pages. If you go back over to All Aquatics or yours,
Yes,
either one, you have them all as well.
Yeah. So if you notice here under services,
you need to have a page for every service that you offer. And I can't tell you how many times we come across businesses and they're like, oh, that's too much. Well, it might seem like too much to you, but if those keywords aren't instantly plugged in there, then people aren't going to find you. They're not going to get what they want. They don't know that you don't do it if it's not there and easily available.
Remember, Crystal mentioned earlier, you only get one or two phrases and you only get one or two locations that you can truly target for Google and get Google to pick it up. The magic number for that seems to be around 60 to 70 characters. So when you're laying out your website, if you're not having a company like us that focuses on that, do it. You have to seriously think about what you can say in 60 to 70 characters that's going to tell Google what you do and where you're at. And that's one of the things we focus on. So here you see Craig does pond installation, disappearing ponds, waterfalls, garden fountains, and then he also does large like filtration. So he has a for every single service that he offers, he has a service page. So same with pond repairs. I'm just going to click on and let it come up here. So again, pond and waterfall repairs, Dallas, South Lake, West Lake. So he's telling the customer what this page is about and and another thing that's key for this too. I'm gonna go back to here real quick, Chris. I know we're kind of harping on this, and I'll make it some time here in a minute. So if I'm looking for pond maintenance and cleaning services, and I'm Lexington, Kentucky, and I search for that and I click this, it takes me to the pond maintenance services on H2O Design's website. So if I'm just looking for my pond to be cleaned, and it takes me to the home page or my pond installation page, here, I didn't find what I was looking for. I'm looking for pond maintenance. I don't care how pretty a waterfalls and ponds and everything else that you do. I want my pond clean, so that didn't help me a bit. So having that individual service pages that land when the Google comes in Google search and landing on that service is absolutely key in keeping the customer's attention. So, so for example, so let's look at a landscape company here. And at first glance, and if this landscape company watches this video, I'm not picking you at all. Please give me a call and I'll tell you how to fix this. So I'm not trying to down anybody here at all. But at first glance, this looks like a decent website. You have a nice, pretty picture in the background. It's showing some nice landscape pictures here. But if I go to try to click on the phone number, nothing happens. It's not a clickable phone number. If I go down and look at my service pages, I have one service page that says landscaping. If I go to landscaping, there's no content here. I mean, just absolutely no content. There's no way that this page can get picked up by Google at all. So all of his services are on the homepage, landscaping, green with Emmy. Again, just not a lot of content. Another thing with this website, if you want to know if your website's mobile friendly, just right click on it and click inspect. And it's going to show you what your website looks like on a mobile phone. So see, it's just,
I would be bouncing immediately when I got there. I would be frustrated.
Yeah, you can't see anything. You can't click on any phone numbers. It just doesn't, it's a nice, pretty website, but it doesn't convert users and it doesn't do.
It's not even a pretty website. Let's be honest. It's an old, outdated, ugly website with some great photography work on it. The pictures are great. It's just, the site's not built right. It's not up to date. It's missing a lot of functionality.
So here's another example of a website, plenty of content here, plenty of pages, but it's just not, it's from the 1980s, it looks like. I mean, it's just, that doesn't invite.
Does it have a copyright date at the bottom? Has it even been updated since 2000?
2006.
They made it 2006 to 2012.
Again, this is your first impression for the customer. This is like pulling up to the customer's house in a truck that barely runs, that's rusted out, and you're leaking oil and hydraulic fluid on their driveway. Nobody would ever do that. So, and I don't understand why.
On their $100,000 concrete driveway.
So yeah, I mean, again, I'm not trying to make fun of these websites, but again, back to what I said before. This is a point to where, as a business owner, you have to take a good quality look at what you're saying to your potential customers and what they are seeing, because everybody knows the economy for the outdoor industry has been phenomenal the last 2 years. With gas prices and everything else going on, everybody's predicting there's going to be a downtick in the economy in the next 2 years. And if you're not putting your best foot forward, you're going to be the one that's downticking your way all the way to finding another career. And that's really what bothers me about seeing this stuff that contractors are not doing to help themselves. And this is stuff that, like I said before, it's not necessarily me trying to sell anything to anybody. It's just do what you need to do to make yourself successful, and then everybody's happy.
Yeah, and I think the next slide that we'll talk about also goes into more details on whether you go with Jeff and us, or you go with someone else? These are all questions that you need to ask your marketing team, your developer. Things like, do you have content to provide, or do they have to rely on you to get them the content? How much text is needed? What's the cost, setup fees?
Let's back up here real quick. Content is a huge problem for contractors. It's probably, and you've done enough work for contractors and small businesses as well, not just in the outdoor industry. It is like pulling teeth to get a contractor to sit down and say, this is what I do. So this is something that we take great pride in with our businesses, and why we only focus on the outdoor industry is because between myself, BJ, and Motel, we've been in the industry. I think BJ's been in the industry for 22 years now. I've been doing it since 2005. Motel's probably before that. He's archaic. No, I'm just kidding. But he's been doing it for a long time as well. And so when it comes to getting your developers content, that's huge for a thing. Now we want help. We want to have a discussion with that contractor and get, here's what's special about my company over the guy next door. But knowing the lingo and knowing the keywords, I think is if you don't hire us, hire somebody that's done landscape websites before, hire somebody that knows the lingo, knows the business, and you don't have to sit down and custom write every single page.
Yeah. And that goes for all small business owners. You're just so busy with your own business and doing the work out there that it's impossible for you to sit down and have to write all of that. So the cost, the setup fees, what are recurring costs? Do you get any kind of website changes with that? Because sites have to be updated and changed, or they'll be like the one sitting back in 2006 that we showed you.
So let's talk about this a minute, Crystal, because this is something we actually do agree on with that. So
we agree on a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So when you do websites outside of Outdoor Network Services, and also we've done it this way since we got in business too, we believe in a reasonable setup fee and a monthly cost to keep things going. And I know what the answer is for us, but I want to let you say what does that monthly cost entail with that? What are you doing? What are your guys doing? Because you have more than just developers in your company. You have people that are watching everything. So give a little insight to what a company should be doing for the contractors in that.
So it even goes down to your reportings, your analytics. Are you tied into all of the different products out there that Google offers? Google Console, Google Analytics, Tag Manager, things like the picture changes. Do you have graphic designers? Are there any of these changes that are included monthly? And with us, we give 45 minutes of changes per month, because your website and your business is going to change. And so your website needs to change with your business and evolve together. Exactly. So on the back end, just the connections to all of those different options and things that Google offers, there's always things that change and happen and need to be redone, and it's a constant evolving door with Google that they're changing, and we have to be up to date with your website and changing it.
Exactly. So the flip side of that is now we're not going to talk about companies that do crappy websites. We're talking about companies that are giving you a good quality website out of the box for that. The flip side of that is instead of charging a monthly fee, you're going to pay an excessive setup fee cost up front and generally get less support. So, you may pay $8,000, $10,000, $15,000 for your website to get created, but then you're not going to get that. They're going to hand it to you and say, here you go. Make sure you do some updates and make sure you keep track of that type of stuff. And that for me, that's handing a contractor something like that is like handing me something like that. I'm not going to take the time to go back and do that. It's not going to do that. So, that's something that you want to really consider it and really dive into it too, as well as how much is your website development company going to take care of versus what you're going to take care of. And if you're in that boat, and I'm not going to knock on DIY people, because I was one of those forever. Of course, I had the knowledge to do it, but even as a DIY, when I built my website and doing that for the last 15 years, I would do once a year changes. I would check that stuff once a year in January and February when I had time. During the summer, Nothing got updated, nothing got looked at. I mean, Google could have done a change and completely wiped me off of page one, and I probably wouldn't have known about it for 3 or 4 months.
Yeah. Another thing is security and plugins and things that are made up pieces of your website. If we're not using a bunch of free plugins and stuff out there that expire and get viruses and all this stuff on them. So having someone constantly checking and watching and monitoring all those things too is important.
Okay.
And so this would be a great slide to take a screenshot of if you are in market for a website, no matter who you use, make sure that these are questions that you should be asking. And a huge one is, do they guarantee Google indexing and just basic SEO? Because there's a lot of people out there, I call them the website or basement developers, or hobby enthusiasts. They know how to create a good aesthetically pleasing website, even with the things that we mentioned should be on a website, but they don't understand SEO. They're not a Google expert, they're not a Google partner, and they're not a Google Sitekit developer. And all of those things, if you're missing those elements, your competitors, if they have it, they're going to outrank you every single time.
Right. I'm going to pause right here for a second, Crystal. We're going to go over our 1 o'clock timeline a little bit, but I think it's important to go ahead and finish. I think we'll be wrapping this up in 10 or 15 minutes. If anybody has to bail because they have a prior engagement or whatever, we will record this and you can watch it on our group page later, but we're going to continue on. And I think the few topics we have left, I think are very important. We shouldn't leave them out right now. Do you agree?
No, definitely. So we can move past this slide, but always ask for references in a portfolio.
Yeah. Well, I want to look at a couple more things right here. We talked about the sport policy. How often do you need a new website? That's a good question.
Well, never, if your website's constantly being updated and kept fresh with all of the new latest. And here's the thing too, is that if your website is more than 3 years old at this point, yes, you need a new website because it needs to be built to all of Google's requirements. Once it's built to all of Google's requirements and what we have now, everything can be edited and updated from this point forever, according to everything Google's promised us.
So that was one of the huge selling points, and one of the big things that tweaked my interest when you and I first sit down and talked about this, and you taking over our website development, was the fact that the platform that we were developing and previously was a good platform. We were creating good websites, but every 3 to 5 years that our customers would need to do a significant upgrade or change or do the website. And that's one of the things that you brought to the table was basically just what you said. So any of our existing customers that have websites we did before this year with us, just reach out to us and let us know. Not that if you did it in the last year or two, you're probably still good. It's a good time to upgrade. But if you're 4 or 5 years old, then it's time to, like you said, it's time to take advantage of the new technology and not get left behind. So
yeah, 4 or 5 years ago, Google wasn't this strong. It's a completely different. It's a game changer. The last 3 years has really been a game changer.
Yes. All right. So, I mean, the rest of these, is there anything else you want us to touch on this in particular? You move on?
No, I think we can move on from this. I touched on most of that already. If anyone wants to take a screenshot, now would be a good time to do that, or you can just get it in the recording.
Yeah, definitely. And we looks like we have a couple of questions. You want to go to the next slide? I think it's.
Yeah, go to the next slide, but we can go ahead and open those.
Okay. Amy, you want to do some questions for us?
Yeah, sure. Ted had a couple questions. He says, what should a basic website cost? Also about hosting fees?
I'll answer that, and I'll say it's completely relative to what you're receiving. I think if you're just going to pay base hosting fees with a domain provider and get handed your website, I would say that if somebody can produce you something for anything less than $8,000 to $10,000, you probably need to, kind of like if you're hiring a contractor, you need to pay attention and really look at what you got. As far as hosting fees go, a lot of companies will design you a basic website and they won't put any SEO in it, and then they'll try to sell you SEO packages and landing pages outside of your website so that they can flip your website off. Like you mentioned RevLocal, Crystal, why don't you mention a little bit about what they do and why that's totally bad for you as a company?
Yeah, so they will take it. A client will have a current website on a domain that's been around for a long time, And then they will come in and they'll build you an additional website that's a one-page landing page, not on your current domain. They will own that other domain, which is a lot of times a new domain, and they'll attach it to your Google My Business page, and basically be telling Google, this is our website, when really we have this other website out here. And then whenever you cancel them, and they're paying $399 a month for this, and then whenever you cancel them, you still have this website out here, but you just lost all that SEO over time that you've been building on this new landing page, when a landing page should really be built inside of your own website, which would be like a service page.
Yes, yeah, I think the point to that is when you talk to your potential developer, then you need to make sure they're doing things that are going to benefit you long term, and not just things that are going to give you immediate quick results. And then as soon as you cancel them, they take it away, and your domain has no authority because, like you said, they link to something else they provided.
Yeah. And then Ted asked another question after the cost and hosting fees. He said, how often should a website be updated to look current? What makes a site current? And so those are all the things that we talked about already with the guaranteed Google indexing, meeting all of Google's protocols, having clickable phone numbers, call to actions on your website, telling people what to do, easily being able to see your locations, all those sorts of things. But then also being able to have all of those products installed that Google offers as well. So if you go back through and watch this again, I think you can get all of that information through a replay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Lisa asked, we have a great blogs on my website. Does blogging help with being found online? Absolutely. So blogging is going to give you content. So after you have your service pages, to have more additional content, doing blogs on certain topics that people are searching online and not finding a lot of relevant content for is absolutely wonderful for your business. The more content you can give Google out there, the better off you're doing. Just make sure those blogs are written in an SEO form. You can Google that online to figure out how to write blogs in SEO form. And they need to have certain headers in them, certain body styles, and they need to have a topic that can get indexed. So, so yes.
And also link to your existing website pages to learn more, so that you get that linking as well. I was going to say something. Oh, so a good example of blogging is, so if you're hiring somebody to do like a 10-page website, and so your one of your pages is pond maintenance, and but pond maintenance can drill down into 6 other services: pond cleaning, pond leak repair, pond fall pond maintenance, spring pond maintenance, summer fall maintenance. All of those are potential blog topics that you can target those specific keywords for and get better SEO value from that. So
yeah, especially when it's seasonal, that's always really good.
yes.
There's another question about getting on the network, but I think we're going to answer that in just a second. So let's wait on that one and move back through the slide here real quick.
Okay.
I won't ask all of these questions here, but these are honest questions you should be asking yourself. How long have you had your current website? What is it like aesthetically? What does it look like? What does your content look like? Does your developer, do they respond quickly to you? And then back the slide before this, reference back to that. Have they answered all those questions for you? When you look at your website, does it look like your team and your trucks out on the road and your and the vision that you want people to see is your business? Is that what you get by going to your website? Is your website engaging? Does it tell people what you want them to do? Because that's ultimately why they're there. And then your service pages, is your website producing leads for you? How many contact forms have you gotten filled out? And even if it's just 2 to 5, were they relevant, good quality leads? Because two customers in a month, 2 new customers could last you 6 months.
Let me say something about that as well before we move on. What I found personally with HTML designs, and we get a lot of feedback from customers, for every 5 forms I get filled out, we probably get 45 or 50 phone calls. And those come from anywhere. We don't do any other marketing except for online. So I know I'll come online, but they can come from Facebook, your website, Google My Business, several other places. But you can't, all of your online marketing needs to work as one unit. So I don't really pay attention on whether it comes from Google My Business, social media, website. I just know that or a paid ads or whatever. I just know that whole system that we have in place online is working, and that's what we're repeating down the road for phone calls, because you can get lost in, we've actually had customers and that have canceled their website with us because they only got 20 leads for the year. When in fact, when we ask them, they're like, oh, we're killing it, and they're like, where are you getting your leads from? Oh, they're all phone calls. Well, you really think that many people are seeing your truck driving around and writing that number down? No, they're not. The whole online thing you're doing is working, and you killed a whole part of it. So it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating to me as a business owner and as also a website development company owner to see people that make decisions that simply just don't make sense.
I have to tell a little story real quick. I'll be real quick with it, I promise, but it's kind of funny to me. Whenever I hear a radio ad, and I'm not opposed to radio ads at all. I think that having multiple avenues of marketing is great. But if you hear, and I'm going to use a roofer as an example, but if you hear an advertisement on the radio, you're driving and it's like, there was a bad storm and it's talking about getting a new roof and this and that and hail damage and all this. And I'm thinking in my mind, oh God, I bet that storm tore my roof up too. I remember that hail was big. But then I go online, and the only thing I really remember was roof or roofer, and I need a roofing estimate or someone to look at my roof. Now I'm going online and I'm searching that. Well, that advertiser probably just used his ad budget to send his competitor a lead if they have a better online presence than he does.
Exactly.
And that's the same thing for advertising on your trucks. People aren't always grabbing your phone number. I mean, they're driving too. Maybe they snapped a picture, but they might just remember your name even from your logo or something. And then they go and search you and they can't find you online. Like that's a problem.
Worse yet, they find a bad website and they're like, oh, well, this guy's truck's nice, but I'm not hiring him.
Mm-hmm. It happens. People really think like that. Okay. So moving on to the next slide. And
again, take a screenshot or go back and watch this. And we can even post some of these questions in our group page to people as well.
So website security is real, guys. We've dealt with it. We deal with it on a daily basis. There are hackers, there are bots, there are people from China every day trying to hack local business websites. And when they do, what do you have? If you paid thousands of dollars for a website and an online experience and presence, and it can all be wiped out, guys, in a matter of seconds by someone. And so it is so important to make sure whoever your developer is, wherever you're hosting, wherever your servers are, that you have people that really know how to deal with these situations and have you protected. We had a local hospital group here where I live. They're what you would consider your CRM. I think it's called an ERH for them. Went down. They had to start taking all medical files, doing paper charting again for over a 3-week period because all of everything was hacked from China, and they lost it all. They had to completely rebuild it all. So these threats, we are seeing more and more of them faster and faster, and we are constantly having to pivot and come up with new ways to block these people from accessing the back end of your website and even our servers. And it's using some of the best server companies out there in the world, and this is happening. So these people are getting smarter and smarter, and for whatever reason, they're really targeting small business owners now. So I highly recommend that you also take a screenshot of this and make sure you have all of these protocols in place. And I still can't promise, even with all these protocols, that that's not going to change and something else isn't going to happen because it's a real threat.
Right. So speaking from a contractor perspective, if you look at these and you have no idea what over half of these are, you need to hire somebody. Mm-hmm. And when you ask a company when you hire a company to build you a website and you get a nice, pretty website and you paid thousands of dollars for it, and they hand it off to you and say, okay, here's your website. You're gonna pay GoDaddy $49 a month and $10 a year for your domain. You're probably not gonna have anybody in place to do this, and you're just running a risk. So that's what a company like what we do, that's what we bring to the table, and by charging a monthly fee so that we have have your developers offshore and your server people and the people and spend the money to have these apps and everything on all these websites that nobody sees is what you're paying for. So I get people ask us all the time, how come you're charging a monthly fee for this and this guy's just going to hand me a website and I never have to pay him again? That's a lie. If you think you're going to get a website and you never have to pay anybody to take care of it again, you're fooling yourself. And that's
Yeah. And I'll tell you that most developers we will not go in and edit someone else's website anymore.
No.
There's just too many risks, too much. It's just too much.
All righty. Next. Oh, okay. So we talked about the network and what it brings to the table. So I'm going to break this down. This used to be a fun little moving slideshow that I had like several clicks, and I got into a webinar at WGE one time and nothing worked. It all jumbled together. So I don't make everything slide anymore. So when you hire a website, when you have a website done outside of Outdoor Network Services, this is pretty much what you have. The whole right side of the screen on this big green line over here. You have your website, you connected Google My Business, you connected your social media, you connected all this stuff to your website, and it's over here and it's churning. It's probably doing decent. If you do everything correctly, you can absolutely get your website to rank on page 1 with 1, maybe 2 most first page listing. But the value that we bring to the table, and I can show you, I'll show you here in just a second what one of our listings looks like, is when you join our core website. So you have listings on our website that have links. So every website that we build, Crystal, links back to our network. So what we are creating is thousands of inbound links into the Outdoor Network Services website. So we're becoming like I like to refer to it as the Darth Vader ship, where everybody, all the ships are coming in to point at us. What we also do is when we create a listing, we create outbound links back to every one of those websites, creating reciprocal links. So that equals probably anyway, depending on how many service pages and how many pages on their website, it can be anywhere from 5 to 20 inbound and outbound links that's coming in and out. You multiply that times hundreds of website customers. We literally have thousands of inbound links coming into Outdoor Network Services and thousands of outbound links going out to these individual websites. That's basically, I always compare it to if you're a new kid in town and you go to middle school and you're on the playground, you're sitting over playing by yourself and you look up and there's a group of kids over there that's having a great time and they're playing, and there's usually one kid that's leading the group and having fun and stuff. You really want to be a part of that group, but in order to do that, you have to create a link or walk over and be a part of that group. And then once you're part of that group, then you have friends that are telling other people when they meet you, hey, this guy's a great guy, or this guy's a good guy, this girl's a good girl. So it's kind of, it's really like that in the Google world. And I don't know a better way to explain it. It's having a reputation, part of your reputation management, having other sources and other people that link to your website and talk about like content for that. So did I explain that well, you think? Or
yeah, I think so. And it is how we offer instant SEO, guys, because the Outdoor Network Services has been around long enough and has the SEO already built into it. So if you are a newer company or an older company and you don't rank for those words, it's gonna help you get there way faster than just trying to do it on your own. And there's nothing out there. You couldn't come to me direct, and I couldn't offer you what Outdoor Network Services is bringing to the table here. So,
and again, if you have a website or a new website's not in your budget, we can still create that linking and help your online presence. So this is again, we talked about All Aquatics before, their website. So this is their linking. This is their landing page on Outdoor Network Services. So if you look here again, it's branded to look like for the end user. The only way they know they're on Outdoor Network Services site is this little icon right here. The rest of it's branded to All Aquatics. The get a quote, that quote goes directly to Craig. The phone number link dials directly to Craig's phone number. So unlike Home Advisor, Angie's, and all these other places that sell you leads, we sell you for a monthly fee. You get as many leads as you want or can have. So whether that's 20 or 100, you pay the same price. Again, serving Dallas South Lake, what you do, how you do, where you do it at, content, reviews, form to fill out if they so choose to, pictures of their work. So it becomes a mini operational landing page and service page, the entire website I mean, mini website, whatever you want to call it. On the services, these are all the services they sign up for. So the same thing holds true for each one of their service pages. Same layout, same linking into their website. Let me go over here. There we go.
And also note that this landing page isn't being connected unless you don't have a website. This isn't being connected. This is really a service page. And so it's not being connected to your Google My Business or something of that nature. People are finding this organically through the Outdoor Network Services website. And that's how they're finding you. And then they're linking from there directly to you, or they can link on to your individual website as well.
Right. So for the landing page and 4 service pages, on every single page, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 to 15 links into their website, creating that link authority for them with that. So that's just, without going into lengthy detail, I don't know how to explain it any better than that. The fact that we're telling Google that there's a lot of like-minded companies that are part of a like-minded group, and therefore they're all doing good work. They all have good quality websites, and you get better search results when compared to someone that's sitting out there trying to do it all on their own.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
And so we started off in the pond industry. Now we have, if you're a landscaper and do multiple services, anything to do with outdoor, garden centers, pond maintenance, pond installation, lawn and landscape, irrigation, outdoor living, that's fire pits, fireplaces, deck and patio, swimming pools. So all of these services are available in our new network. And if you're an existing customer and want to up the game, up your search results for some of these other services, we can do that. If you're coming in, and we talk a lot about pond contractors and pond maintenance, but I mean, it's kind of where we cut our teeth at, and now we have available for everything. So anything else to add, Crystal, or questions?
I don't think so.
All righty. We can do a last set of Q&A if we have any. Otherwise, we can talk about the future webinars coming up and wrap this up.
You might actually show the Outdoor Network website, outdoornetwork.services, and just the map listing there, and then show the marketing page. If anyone would like to get a free listing, they could go there and get a free listing. It would be a great start for them.
Yes, absolutely. So let me go.
And then we had one last question. It was just, I have a website now. Can I get on your network with my existing website? Absolutely, you can. We would need to look at your website, make sure it's a good convertible website, but we can absolutely start with some service pages. And that's what makes this also great, is that whether you're a brand new business, or a business that's been around for a long time, we work with all sizes, and we can get you started somewhere.
Yeah, so the way to get started with that is you can go to the marketing.outdoor network services site, and you can fill out this join a free listing page. You can fill out the quick contact form if you want. You'll obviously, if you're looking to sign up, you can fill out this and just say what you want in. Somebody will get back to you. Usually within 1 to 2 business days, we get back to everybody. I'm with that. So yeah, and so any other questions? Go what?
Nope, I think that's perfect. And next up on Tuesday, can you go back to that slide?
Yep.
Tuesday, December 20th, we will be talking about utilizing free marketing tools, how you can get your business, you can drive traffic doing free things on your own, or how we can help you with some of those things as well, such as social media, review management, Google My Business, and email marketing. Yes,
and we will have, for that seminar, we have Amy, which owns Night Sky Marketing and handles our reputation management, and is actually moderating the call today. And we'll bring in Laura Reale to talk about email marketing, some things like that. So the goal for all of these webinars is to have people that are either experts in the business or are doing a good job with the topic we're talking about, and letting them share their experiences. And again, the goal is to be informational, and by the time you watch the end of this video series, sorry, I got some be able to take advantage of everything there is to offer for your business, and hopefully succeed in what is looking to be a somewhat down market, and then when the market comes back, be at the top of the list, so you're killing it.
Yeah,
Good.
absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for showing up and staying on with us today. We'll try to get better at staying within our time frame. But now that this is learning for us on how to present this to you all. So
Yes.
we're excited everybody was on here with us.
Let's not skip January seminar just yet, Crystal, because I know you don't like talking about yourself, but utilizing paid ads for your landscaping business. If you're looking to boost your business, you need to listen to this seminar, I think, because Crystal's going to give you some really good insights if you want to tackle paid ads yourself and what to look for and how to do it. But like we showed with the websites, if you're a contractor and you're really running a good contracting business, you honestly do not have time to do this stuff for yourself and leaving it to the pros or hire, whether you hire us or somebody else, knowing what to look for and how to talk to people is truly key for that.
Yeah. So it goes like this. I'm not going to do my own financials. I'm going to hire a CPA. I am not going to install my own audio outside. I'm going to hire somebody for that. I'm not going to do my own pond maintenance or put my own swimming pool in or any of that. And it's just, I'm in business too, and I don't have time to learn someone else's trade.
Exactly. The last two webinars are really going to be some good information. Closing the deal, effective sales tips and landscape contractors. This is one that I'm working on right now. We're going to bring in some other successful businesses and have a roundtable discussion. I think it's probably one I'm looking most forward to, because I absolutely love when I go to events, talking to other contractors and other business owners and picking up tips and tricks and things that they do that even I didn't even think of in this for a long time, or things that I can apply to my business. So this is going to be a really informational and something that I think this will be a great webinar. And then getting into March, and I know everybody's going to be busy, but the last one, knowing your numbers, Lamps got to making a profit. Scott from $1 Million Landscaper is going to join us with that one and talk to us about, what's the use in doing all this? What's the use in getting all the leads? What's the use in selling it? If at the end of the day, you don't have money in your pocket. And I think that's what nobody wants to take advantage of the customers, but at the same time, you have a family to feed and you deserve to be successful as well. So I think having that mindset and going into that's going to be super, super for everybody. So anything left to add, Amy or Crystal?
I think it's pretty good. Wrap it up.
All right. Sorry for running over, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope this was helpful. If you need to contact us, go to our website, Outdoor Network Services. Marketing.Outdoor Network Services has everything service that we offer. With that, if you just need to ask a question or have something like that, you can hit me up on Facebook. Fill out a form to ask questions. We are here to help everybody, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and happy Turkey Day. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.